Okay, so we're going to wait for a few minutes here and see what happens. See if I can do this. I've had a couple people come into the room at the tips and tricks and say they got their machine and they've decided to play with it. Don't play with it. And they started adjusting things. So what do we do about that? Okay, here we go. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get to where you guys are on my laptop so I can read stuff. Oh, there's one person. Who's there? Say hi. I'm still not ready. I'm trying to get myself together here. Tips and tricks of Cobra Class leatherworking equipment. Got a laptop so that I can read, and then my cell phone in my hand so that I can talk to you. There's my link. I can see my silly face. God, this is bad. 3 people. How you guys doing? I'm not going to mute this. Okay, new pin chat. Got it. Okay, so I should be able to read the chats. Somebody send a message real quick. Say hi or something. Who do I see here? Let me see if I can see your faces. Nope. Welcome to the chat. Learn more. God, I'm terrible at this whole YouTube thing. Say something. I'm going to say hi. Did it go? It went. Okay, so we got 5 people. How's everybody doing? It's a holiday. Is everybody enjoying their holiday? So we'll wait a minute or two here and see if we can get some more folks involved and all of that good stuff. So briefly, we have a Facebook group and we call it Tips and Tricks with Cobra Class Leatherworking Equipment. Okay, so we've only publicized this silly video in that group, so I'm going to assume that everybody here is a member of that group. Okay, so in a nutshell, we started this group about 10 years ago, and we've got about 5,000 members. And the popularity of the internet and the leather machine company is the group is growing exponentially. It's growing really fast, okay? Which is good because that means more and more people are finding the group and they're accessing the information that we've put there, and it's kind of good for people. Now we've got 7 people. All right. So inevitably, people don't read the pin post and they don't really understand how the group operates, and they don't really relate to the layout of how the group is functioning, and then they ask certain questions that have been discussed a million times, and the resources are all already there, right? We've got links to video forums and stuff like that. Hi, B. Finney. The backbone. What's up, my man? How are you? Please don't distract me too much off topic, because if not, I'll be talking to you and we'll be talking about fur babies. All right. Fine, he says. Okay, so in a nutshell, we have to introduce these folks to the way our system works and the way their sewing machine works so that they don't get themselves caught in a loop. And that loop is what we call Tinkeritis. Okay, so Tinkeritis is, we've had one really bad case of Tinkeritis. Okay, so I'll describe that scenario. The guy gets his sewing machine and starts looking around the internet and decides he's going to make a exploded view of the sewing machine, because you can't find half this information online. Like, where do you find all the parts and all the information and how to adjust them for these machines when it was basically word of mouth and really crappy technical drawings that were handed down. So we find ourselves today without a knowledge base so that new people like yourselves, I'm assuming that a lot of these people are new, can't find the information on how and where to get their machine information. So we created the tips and tricks group so that folks who have a problem can come in, ask a question, get a simple answer. Okay. So now with this surge of new users, these users come in, they don't read the pin posts, they don't understand how we work and why we're there. People think that we are employees of the leather machine company, and that's not true. We're just volunteers helping people help people with their sewing problems. Okay. So long ago, I recruited my friend Bruce Brand to help me with this thing. So Bruce is a very knowledgeable individual, and he sits around helping. And we have a back room where the moderators of the group talk amongst ourselves, and then we bring one voice to the forefront. So Bruce will call me, what are we going to do about this? And what are we going to do about that? Or I ask him, and he kind of keeps me in check because, I get frustrated and want to say really mean things sometimes. So, come on, Bruce, I want to talk about this. And he goes, no, don't say it like that. Say it like this. And then we keep friendly things happen. Hi, Adam. So, he just said something. There it is. What is it? Some folks are guilty of throwing out guesses without full understanding. That's exactly right. So we ask, don't guess. If you don't know the exact answer to a problem, don't guess, because you'll just create more problems for the user, the guy who asked the question. So let's get back to Tinkeritis. Some creative friend decides to go make leather. So he's got a little workbench. He's tinkering. He makes a bracelet one day, makes a wallet the next day, decides he's going to make a set of moccasins that he bought a pattern from Tandy or something, and starts the creative process on his path to being an artisan. So now he's discovered hand sewing and tooling and stamping and stud setting and rhinestones and bling everything, right? Well, he gets to a point where he decides he's going to make an investment. And he goes out and buys himself a sewing machine. Doesn't really matter which machine. He's just bought the one that he thinks is going to help him do it. And that machine is not going to succumb to your will. Let's make that clear. You need to adapt to it. Otherwise, if you try to make it adapt to you, it's really funny to me. If you try to make it adapt to you, you're going to spend a ton of time trying to get it back to what I call the home position. Okay, get it back to where it's actually going to work for you. Okay, so today I want to make a bracelet. Tomorrow I'm going to make a wallet. The next day I'm going to make a pair of moccasins, and then a satchel, and then a belt. All those setups require dialing in the machine so that it actually works for you. Okay, but these machines have a history. Right? They didn't just magically appear, and they don't act like TV sets where you dial in a TV station and a movie magically plays, right? So they are machines. They have multiple moving parts. They are finicky, to say the least. And now a very creative person decides he wants to buy a sewing machine, gets it delivered to his house. It's sitting in the middle of the living room or the dining room, and he's going to make stuff. It cracks me up because we've gone through a paradigm shift, and that shift has made it possible for you to access companies like the Leather Machine Company, and they'll ship it to you. There it is, sitting in your living room. And you want to make belts, bracelets, wallets, satchels, moccasins, and by next year, you're going to be a cobbler. Okay, well, I'm not a cobbler. I've been doing this stuff for 42 years, man. I don't mess around with shoes at all. because I can't. My buddy Adam McLenary over there, he's my holster maker. When I need holsters, I just send it to him because I'm not a holster maker. I'm a fashion designer. I make really nice clothing. God forbid there's vegetable tan involved, because I leave that to Chan Gear and Peter Main, man. That's it. If I need that stuff done, I contact those folks and get them paid. Anyway, I'm diverging off the topic. I only do one thing, and I only do one thing really well. My machines, when I set them up, they do one thing and one thing really well. Okay, I get the feel for that machine so that I can do that one thing really well. If I tinker with it too much, because I'm going to adjust it away from the home position, then I risk knocking the system out of time or out of adjustment, and then it won't go back to do the one thing really well anymore. I have to wrestle with it or adjust it to get it back. So our new user gets his machine and he decides he's going to practice. Right? Now, one thing we know about the leather machine company is that they have a very stringent quality control process, because they know these machines are going out who knows where, who knows what the quality control standards in a different shop are, who knows the expertise of a new user, and that machine is set up perfectly 99% of the time. There's going to be an odd time when somebody missed something or something, but they are diligent. Those machines go and they're working. They've got a sewn off piece in there that demonstrates the fact that that machine can do everything it's designed to do. And now Mr. Creative, new user, to no fault of his own, right? He wants to make a wallet. Okay. And then he comes into the tips and tricks group and says, hey, my machine's not working. So I started watching all the videos and I've adjusted the tension and I think my machine's out of time. I've had the machine for 2 days. Uh-oh. Red flag. Tinkeritis. Adam, one of the worst tinkering things folks try to do is invent unnecessary gadgets. Well, there is that. That's a whole different subject. We dealt with that last week. It's unbelievable, man. Adam, I'm going to invite you to the tips and tricks for admins group so you can read some of the messages that we have to throw around back and forth back there. Just for fun. Just so that you can be closer to the family. But anyway, our new user gets his machine and he wants to dial it in, and he's got a bag of scrap, and he gets a piece of veg tan and puts a piece of upholstery leather on top of it and starts sewing back and forth and tacking. He's going to go back and forth. He's going 6 inches backwards, wondering why the machine is skipping stitches. And now he's going through multiple layers of weird densities of stuff, and none of it looks like a workpiece. It's just a bunch of scrap, and the machine is not working. This thing's a piece of shit. Pardon my French. It's a piece of junk, and, it's just not working to my satisfaction. We get that all the time. So then me, I wholeheartedly try to be a nice guy. And look at this mug. It's an ugly face. The only asset that I have to myself is to be nice. Because nobody's attracted to this thing because it's beautiful. Look at it. Right? So, I try to be nice to people. And then some tinker comes into the group. Red flag, tinkeritis. And without saying, dude, are you flipping dumb? I go, okay, we need to talk about tinkeritis. So rather than try to type out 1 million words on the forum, I recommend that they call me or I call them. I look them up. Look, if you've got a web page, I'm looking through that thing, trying to figure out how to reach out to you and say, hey, this is Al Bain. How you doing, my man? Look, I got some questions I'd like to ask you. And the answers usually, you can hear them. They're excited. Oh my God, what did I do? I can't believe I'm actually talking to you. I've watched all your videos. Yeah, because I feel that you have a problem that we need to talk about so that we can make your future better. Make your time wrestling with that damn machine less of a pain in the neck and more productive so you can, enjoy that thing a little more and maybe make some money. This is my little industrial revolution. I'm trying to get more craftsmen involved in sewing so that, hopefully our economy can go up because we've brought manufacturing back to the U.S. Like, I got big dreams. Sorry. So we need to talk about Tinkeritis, and we need to delicately convince this individual to back off and leave the machine alone and stop. Just stop. Take a minute and develop some skills. And they go, okay, I feel like I'm being lectured here. Yeah, you are. If you want to figure it out, I'll be happy to help you. But we have to back up and go to the fundamentals. Right? What are the fundamentals? Where do we start? I was sewing on my girlfriend's sewing machine. She gave me a couple lessons and I decided to buy a class 26. Oh, wait. Let's get even better. I decided to buy a King Cobra because I want to make wallets. Who decided to buy a King Cobra to make wallets? Like, come on, please. So it's not their fault that they don't know. It's my fault that I didn't teach them. It's my responsibility that you don't know. So I'm going to fix the error of my ways. I'm going to try to help you understand this stuff so that you can have a positive future and a good experience owning this equipment. So let's back off and let's go back to the fundamentals. We need to understand a couple things. That machine was designed to be in a production line. Okay, and I always refer to Mr. Ford. He invented the production line. So there was a workstation. No problem, Tammy. I appreciate your kind words. There's a workstation, a set of tools there, an operator sitting there, and he does the one thing and he gets really good at it. Put the tire on the axle, put the bolt on, tighten it to this torque value, do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Production line. These sewing machines came out of that environment. Industrial sewing machines doing the same thing over and over again. So a strap, make a belt. Okay, that's what I always recommend people do. Go buy a side of leather, cut it into about 20 strips, learn to cut the end really nice, learn to punch the holes in really nice, and then stitch belts. You can edge them if you want, you can dye them if you want, but if we're talking about the sewing machine, then you need to stitch the belt. And what do you learn by doing 20 of these things? You got 40 straightaways and 180-degree turn, and you've loaded in and loaded out. Okay? I see the chats going by really quick. I can't read them on my phone, but I can look over to the laptop and read them. But I don't want to get too distracted off topic. So, long straightaway, 180-degree turn, long straightaway. Okay? I suggest that you learn to brace your hands so you don't have to move them too much. That long straightaway is pretty easy. I've got a video showing me stitching a guitar strap. It's flying along, smoke coming off the needle. People are like, what is that? Oh my God. Because they don't see people operate like that. But that's how I sew all day long. I run my machines at full speed as often as possible. I don't have time to sit there and sew at, 1 stitch a second. That's too slow for me. I got to make money. I'm poor because I can't sew fast enough. That's a whole different problem. So you got to learn how to guide these things through the machine. So learn to brace your hand, learn to guide a straight line, learn when to slow down, when to stop. So I'll fly along 30 inches of a 35-inch strip, stop about 2 inches early. Now recollect my thoughts so that I can make that turn, right? So I'm flying along, I know there's a new procedure coming. Stop. Only takes a split second. Reposition my hands, get my ergonomics ready so that I can spin that 180-degree turn. If it's got corners in the tip, then I'm going to stop and target that one corner, the first one. Do my, reverse lever space adjustment so that I can hit the target perfect. Bink, right in target. Another little straight line. Tink, 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 tink. The next target. Boom, right on target. Right? We've detailed all these videos. The spiral pattern video will teach you how to land on the target. Okay? Turn, 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 straight away. Boom, off the end. Load the next one in. Do it again 20 times. By the time you've done 20 of these straps, you're pretty good at firing off a straight line. You're probably getting the hang of positioning for the corners. You're probably getting the hang of turning 180 degrees pretty easy. Okay? Getting the hang of it. All right. So now take all the rest of the scrap of that side that you bought. Spend $150. Guess what? The result is that all your friends have a new crappy belt. Or you have a pile of junk in the trash can, but you spend $150 to invest in yourself so that you can gain these skills. Okay? You can come over here and pay me $150 and the side of leather, and I can watch you do it. One way or the other, you're going to get the skills. So you invest in this investment. It's a small investment to develop the skills to do a long straightaway, 180-degree turn, or 3 or 4 90-degree turns, or whatever it is at your end of your strap, and then come off of it. Make 20 of them. You've loaded and unloaded the machine 20 times. You probably had to change the bobbin 3 or 4 times also. So you learn how long a bobbin can be. So you know that you can make 3.5 belts before you run out of bobbin. So then you in turn learn how to adjust the bobbin winder so that it doesn't overfill the bobbin. Right? So you can get 3.5 belts, so you adjust the bobbin winder so you can get 3.25, and you only waste about a foot of thread at the end of the bobbin. Right? You're getting the hang of it. You're understanding the bobbin winder. You're understanding straight lines. You're understanding 180-degree turns. You're understanding how to cut them. You're understanding how to do all this stuff. So you're developing skills and you're investing in yourself. Okay? Doesn't matter what happens to those straps. Give them to your friends. Everybody needs a spare belt. Might not be the most beautiful belt, but you know what? You're getting skills. So that 30th belt, that one makes you money. So you go sell that one. And then everyone after that is making you money. And you're regaining from your investment in yourself because now you're making really nice belts. Look at Mike Mott. Guy does nothing but belts. Hopefully he's paying for his family with that money. Right? Really nice belts. They're about $150. I don't know how many he's selling, but he's making really nice belts. That's the one thing he does. He does really well. Beautiful belts. I wish I had one. Hey, Mike, I need a belt. How much is a belt for a fat guy? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. So the next thing, take all that scrap and make bracelets. So what skills are required for a bracelet? Okay, 4 straightaways and 4 90-degree turns. So 1/2-inch radius, 1-inch radius. That's your design. How tight do you want that turn? But now that you're doing these turns, practice tracking perfectly around the turn. Okay? Make those turns. Learn how to overlap tack. Learn how to hide that. Put in some snaps. Learn how to put some snaps in. Learn the hassles of setting snaps by hand versus, whether it's worth it to you to buy a snap setting machine so that you can do it nice. Okay, you make 20 bracelets, you've had to have made a pattern, so you learn about drafting your own pattern, and then the quality associated with a good pattern because, inheriting mistakes that your pattern has in it into your work product so that it's all still crooked for the rest of the eternity, you start learning some skills. So you've learned some belts, you learned how to spin 180 degrees, Now you're doing bracelets, 4 straightaways and 4 90-degree turns, whether they be on a radius or just a 90. Set some snaps. Now you got a bunch of junk bracelets. But you've invested in yourself and you're developing some skills and you're getting the hang of this stuff. Okay, so what's the next project? Now let's go make a wallet. Okay? Try to make a wallet that's about the same weight as the straps. So what skills do we get out of it? 4 straightaways, 4 turns. Looks a lot like a bracelet. It's not real hard to overcome this project, but another layer of complexity, and that is multiple layers and stepping up and stepping down off of obstacles. So if you have a regular billfold, you've got that gap in the center and the thickness changes, right? So you have to learn how to approach that and not just cut the end with the needle and now you've got a torn piece there. You got to learn how to bridge the thread off of it and how to step down, and when it steps off of the obstacle, how not to increase the stitch length real fast, because you want it all to look uniform on the outside, right? So you start considering those things and you make a bunch of junk wallets. Now you've got spare wallets for all your credit cards because you're getting all these credit card offers and you're going to accept them, whatever. Now you've got a bunch of credit cards that are at 25%. Oh my God, please. So now you've got a spare wallet or two laying around and your friend's got one, and maybe you've got a weird junk wallet in your car for some paperwork. You just, whatever, man. But you're investing in yourself and you're getting the hang of making wallets, and then sooner or later, you're making wallets for profit. All along, you've built your skill set and you haven't even messed with the machine even one time. Okay? That wallet created a problem, though, because of the different layers. Now you're throwing a little loop. And you come into the tips and tricks and go, you know what? I'm showing a little loop. I don't know what's going on. What's my most logical course of action? And you can go look up all the videos that we've got and try to find the one on thread tension. You ask your question, and I go, or Bruce says, what size needle, what size thread, what kind of machine is it? Okay, you've changed thicknesses. You haven't touched your tension. Thank you for being a good disciplined person. Ask your question. You've changed thicknesses from thick to thin, and now you've got a loop. Well, I want to tighten the top tension a lot because, and now that I'm onto the thick part again, now I've got loops on top again. I'm going to adjust the timing. Please don't. What's the complication of stepping off a thick area onto a thin area? And the advanced guys already know that's called flagging. Okay? That flagging problem is avoidable if you predict it's going to be there, stepping off the thick and onto the thin. And as the needle rises, that thin piece of material wavers around under there. So what do? Make sure it doesn't flag. Stick your finger right up against the foot. Press down with all your might. Blink. That one stitch doesn't flag. And you didn't have to adjust anything. You just developed a skill. Hopefully you didn't pierce your finger or step on your finger with the presser foot as it moved. But that skill got developed. You made 10 junk wallets. Some of them have loops and some of them don't. But you've invested in yourself and you haven't tinkered with the machine. After a month of doing this, you've got some skills. Now, go back to the creative process and figure out how to use those very particular skills to engineer a project that you can design and make an exquisite belt. Not just some okay belt, but exquisite. Go look up the definition of that word if you don't know what it means. My goal in my life as a craftsperson is to finally be categorized in the exquisite category. The unattainable category of exquisite craftsmanship. Go look at Peter Main's work. Go look at Chan Gear's work. Those guys are heroes because they focus on the detail. And they didn't get it overnight because they had Tinkeritis. They focused and developed those skills to the point where it's beautiful beyond comparison. They sit in a class all by themselves. I want to make the most beautiful leather jacket that has ever been seen. 150 pieces all assembled with a sewing machine. Inevitably you're going to have a tension problem. Inevitably you're going to skip a stitch. You're going to have problems. I'm still trying to get one done. 42 years, I'm still trying to make one exquisite garment. It's killing me. But you know what? It's the path. It's the task. It's the challenge that makes it thrilling and makes it interesting. And when that client's wearing it and it's beautiful and they're ecstatic and they're leaving going, it was a good deal at twice the price. That's the pride. That's the reward, right? But you're not going to get there until you pay your dues. Avoid the Tinkeritis. Leave the machine alone. It came from the factory working perfectly. If you think it didn't, bring up the topic before you start messing with the machine. Let's talk about it. Let's develop the basic skills so that you're moving forward on your journey in a way that's logical. Develop some skills, get the hang of it, make some really nice belts, make some really nice bracelets, make some really nice wallets, move on to making a gusseted bag, make some messenger bags, make some duffel bags. Once you've got these basic skills, those other skills are easy to grasp. But it takes a little bit of discipline, it takes a little bit of planning. But these new folks that come in and go, I'm going to make all this stuff and change my setup, and the tension was off, and this damn thing isn't working. I don't know why. It's not the machine. So anyway, I hope this has kind of shed some light. I don't see Bruce Brand commenting, but Tinkeritis is definitely a disease. Did I mention the first guy that decided he wanted to make an exploded view? He gets a class 4, can't find any good manuals because they're all second and third generation Xerox copies from 50 years ago. He literally took his whole machine apart, every single thing, laid it out on the table and took a detailed set of pictures. Then came in the tips and tricks group saying, look what I did. I want to put it back together. Show me how to put it back together. I'm like, that's way beyond my skill set, buddy. Timing, thread tension, sewing skill tricks, reverse lever operation. I'm pretty good at those. But, you remove the main shaft out of a sewing machine. I can't help you. That machine had to go back to the leather machine company. And I think they just sent them a new machine. Those guys are really good with their customer service. I think they just sent them a new machine and said, here you go. Don't do that again. Avoid Tinkeritis at all costs. You're not contributing to the world database of sewing machines by taking a bunch of blurry pictures of a class 4. All right, I hope I've made somebody laugh. I hope I've given somebody some encouragement. I hope I didn't break a bunch of spirits of the newbies. We love the newbies because they're learning. We hate it when they get themselves in trouble, especially if it's avoidable. The Tinkeritis thing is a real thing. Okay, you get a machine and you expect it to do certain things. Get your expectations straightened out. These are industrial machines that were designed to be in production lines. They're not as flexible as we want them to be. Learn the limitations of the machine and then keep your design strategy and embrace that limitation set. And I think you'll serve yourself well. From all of us in the Tips and Tricks group, feel free to ask your questions. I'd rather have a dumb question than a big problem. I'll be happy to help anybody. Bruce is like-minded the same way. We only ask for one thing. Actually, we ask for a few things, like read the pin post. If we ask you to call us or arrange a time that works for you, but don't leave us hanging. If you got a problem, I take it personal. I want to help you. So I start looking up your webpage. I start looking for your contact information. I start calling you. I'm proactive about this stuff. I'll call people and they're like blown away that I called them. Well, you said you needed help. Okay, so, I'm busy, but I'm never too busy to help another person. So if I reach out to you, then pick up the phone. If you decide to call me, I might be too busy to take you at that time. See? I check my tips and tricks stuff during my breakfast, during my lunch, sometimes during dinner. My girlfriend really gets pissed that I'm on the phone looking at tips and tricks and not staring into her beautiful eyes and telling her how much I love her. So if I'm reaching out, it's because I have the time at that moment. So we can schedule another time. But if you call me out of the blue, hey, you know what? I got your number off of the internet and my machine's broken and damn it, you need to fix it for me right now. Wow. I might be busy at that moment. Can we arrange another time? I've had people yell at me for that. Like, seriously, I'm just a volunteer here trying to help people. But whatever, But again, if we get you on the phone, please go back and summarize so that the group can learn together. We ask of that. So sometimes we get some pretty good summaries. Sometimes we get some pretty messy ones, and I have to go in there and fix them or whatever. Bruce has to fix them. I think the tips and tricks is working pretty well. It's helping people. We got a lot of loyal members. Okay? Don't guess. Oh, it's got to be a tension problem. Come on, please. If you don't know the exact answer, then just sit back and watch. And the only thing that we really ask is that you, come on, say it with me. Please pay it forward. Go have a good day. Be nice to somebody. And we'll talk soon. See you around. Thanks again.